All right, what's going on, everybody? It is Sunday, July 30th, and we are setting up for the day. As you can see, there is a lot of new peaks, a lot of peak formations. I mean, the lowest is an 8-day peak formation high. We don't even have any flashing colors with the ADR still being the way it is. So this is pretty solid. Now it's just a matter of, is this the best setup to take or is this not? Now, we're going to take a look at all of these. If you notice, they're all JPY pairs, so they're pretty much all going to look the same, minus a few little details. But let's take a look at what we got. So USDJPY, I'm going to actually go through all these and then a couple of these, and then I'm going to structurally just scan through these other pairs where to see if it actually makes any sense. But let's check to see if these peak formations are valid. So let's go to the higher time frames here. I have some trend lines drawn out, just higher time frames like 4-hour daily. It's just easier to map out and see where specific points of reference are. So, but as we can see, there is some tight EMAs. It's not like the best formations, honestly. This actually would be a better formation if this thing pulled back up a little higher and then dropped, just because of the fact that we have all this droppage here and it needs to fill in some of these spaces. We have some supply and demand zones right here. Can actually draw it up. I can go here. Supply and demand right there. And that also lines up with the 4-hour resistance, lines up some of the trend lines up here. This trend line is based off of this point, this area where it broke through, bounced through, and then this area too, where it also set up for the supply and demand zone. So it's not like the most ideal in a sense, but something I've recognized recently is that it doesn't have to just be on the outsides or on top and just has to hit the tops of it. It's more just wherever there's a significant reaction on market price based on specific trend lines, that is a significant area that you can look for some sort of rejection, turnaround, maybe a powerful breakthrough depending on the momentum of the market. So we are going to be looking for a push up here. Now, if I go to the daily, so we have that daily imbalance up top, which also meets the criteria for that supply zone, meaning this could push up over the next few days past it, maybe a little bit up to it and just touch it. And then we look for that drop because let's look, it's in this small channel. And if this is going to be an accurate channel, then this is something that we want to pay attention to. Like right now, this isn't an ideal spot. Like, I mean, the only thing I would say that's ideal is you want to be looking for buys. I mean, simply just because of how market structure is. So the only thing I would say is let's look for buys and find the best opportunity. Now, this might not be the best opportunity right now, just because the market's already moving and majority of these are the JPY pairs. So this might be the move. So if anything, you probably can get in tonight, now-ish, or you can just wait until tomorrow until we get the best setup, which is going to be the push up to here. So, and if we're looking at where it's at currently to that zone, that's about 160 pips. So we have some time for this thing to play out and maybe a little bit of time for actually this to go up a little higher. So we'll see how it plays out and ultimately makes the most sense. Now, if that's the case, then this is also a zone here. That's I'm on the 1 hour. Yep. So this could actually be the zone from there to there, right there. And if we go back to the daily, look at the imbalance, it probably matches up even better. Perfect. And that's the little things I want to make. I like to find like the confluences where they overlap each other. And obviously like this trend line, it's probably going to get broken, to be honest. So I don't want to actually use this. Why do I even have this? Oh, because of here. Yeah, see, that's just a premature one. It's not set in stone. So I'm going to actually get rid of that and leave the ones that are definite rejection zones. And then we're going to look for that selling point. So let's take a look. Yeah, we're just going to be looking for buys, guys. Let me set up. Actually, that's what I was going to do. I forgot. I want to set up a fib. Now, I know I use fibs for hidden divergences, but there are some times where you get significant drops like this, right? And if it's the significant drop takes out that low, then it's obvious to just paint that fib, right? They're not every single time where you have to draw a fib, but it has to match up with the 50. That's just the perfect way of, just another way of being able to identify a pullback zone to get in a trade. But if you want to look for market structure, I mean, the simplest way to use Fibonacci is from a high into a low, especially when that high was created, then created a brand new low following it. So especially on one single drop. I mean, this is multiple days, but as you can see, there's not like any blue candles. It's more like it's a big drop. It's not just consolidation. So this is looking to pull back into this 61.8, possibly a little bit higher, 78.6, which I've seen before. Especially when it's not drawn up with the hidden divergence that I look for. It usually can push up that high. But ultimately, we're going to be bullish on most of these pairs tonight. So let me write this up on here on my board. One sec, guys. All right. Where did I put it? Oh, purple. All right. Oh, there's the purple. Across the room. Thank God for wireless mics. All right, so we're looking for buys on UJ, which ultimately will be looking for sells. So bullish on UJ tonight, guys. All right. So let's go look at the other pair, GJ there. If you're looking at these pairs right now, they're actually making their moves. So, I mean, just kind of makes sense to what we're looking for. This one's breaking that trend line, giving it more of a solid look to probably just go push up to this high right here, which makes sense. All right. So how far? Let's look at the weekly real quick. Look at that wick. Holy shit. That retested that heavily. That looks pretty solid, guys. So I'm going to say we're bullish on this. I mean, it's clear as day that JPY is going to be going long, especially after that big push. Usually, and from my experience, when I've seen moves like this where it shoots up hard, yeah, you want to look for a reversal, but I mean, when it goes straight down and straight up, pretty much within the same 24-hour period, I mean, that's a wick, clearly. So that's just a stop hunt right here. This is literally a stop hunt to continue up. So the best thing to do would be looking for buys. We have the resistance zone at top. Let me go to the daily, draw up some fibs, see what we got here. You notice my fibs, I don't have the 38.2 anymore. I just took to the 50 and the 61.8 and the 78.6. So that's what we're looking for. It's probably just going to go right back to the top, to be honest, because actually this might be hidden divergence right here. Yep. From here, look at that. Let me move this down to there. 1 to here. Almost. Let's get rid of this. Okay. Came down close to it, but this doesn't always have to respect it. Just because it didn't hit the 50 doesn't mean it can't go up. So, but this is definitely bullish. So we're just going to be bullish on GJ. It's most likely going to go all the way back to the top. And then from there, we'll see some reversal. Either that, or if it doesn't shoot up here, well, not just shoot up. Like, I'm not saying like it has to be a straight candle up, but we could see something where it does come up, retest, and go back up. I don't need this anymore. I think I don't need this anymore either. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Honestly, this is still setting up this isn't the best setup at the moment, but I definitely am still remaining bullish on this. And then we'll see how it pans out going into tomorrow. This is probably going to be best for tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, but I'll have a clear idea, but definitely expect it to be bullish. Okay. CADJPY. Same boat. I have actually all the JPY pairs right here. So we're just going to run through them real quick. Let's see what we got on the weekly. Same thing. We have a bear bull, push up, wick down. Have this trend line here that it's respecting at the very moment. But that's okay. Let's see. Honestly, my favorite setup that I've seen so far is USDJPY. I mean, you got a W right on the or the water here on the daily. We have this point, but that's not to the 50. You have this point. It's not the clearest, but that's a straight pullback. I mean, we could sit here and draw up fibs all day, but this is the most recent point looked for. All right, look at that. 61.8. Perfect. Now, I'm going to say we're going to keep being bullish. Just stay bullish on it. This isn't a significant pullback now. If it does want to pull back, we have this peak to that peak. And then we'd see it pull back down to here. This trend line. Mind you, this is the weekly. So like if it's gonna drop, it's not just gonna do it all instantly. So I think we could see this push up a little bit. Just based on how that wick is, I want to see it push up a little bit more. And then we can see that what it wants to do after it breaks here. I don't think this is smart yet out of all the pair, even though I do believe it is bullish. It needs to break this trend line. So once we get that trend line break, you can look for a retest. So I'm going to say CADJPY is bullish at the moment. CJ, that's CAD, key A. But it's not the signature trade that I look for. Now, if it rejects it right here, then it could just consolidate, right? You got to keep in mind the EMAs are really tight. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you buy. You know, there's no setup here, but I can just say that it looks bullish. So CADJPY is bullish. AUDJPY is probably the same thing, guys. Look at that. That one had a bigger move. Holy shit. Oh, I'm on the 1 hour. That's not that big. Oh, it is. I mean, 60 pips. Pretty solid, guys. It's pretty freaking solid. All right, let's go to here. Go to this. Don't need that. Oh, okay. I see now. So this one's doing exactly what we wanted to do, where it's shooting up. Look at this break. That's how fat this drop is, guys. Boom, break, filling in the imbalances on all time frames. Retesting broken resistance right here. So this could be a little bit higher of a push because, mind you, this is a wick. Let's go to the weekly. A wick right on the 78.6. So I'm gonna say this can be bullish, but You know, my first instinct would be to look for a sell right now, but it's not in that position yet. This is going to push up higher. This is probably going to go all the way back up to the top here. And now the fact that it's retesting this here, this isn't valid. If this were valid, then this is incorrect. Let me fix this. A little bit better. Still not my favorite. I'm getting rid of it. So I want to see it push up a little bit higher to retest this zone. Once it retests up here, that's when we're going to have a little bit better of an understanding of what it's going to do. But it's kind of setting up like UJ, where it shoots up. We're looking for it to shoot up and then potentially look for that push back down. And if we're looking at the peak here, this is from the 4-hour perspective. Boom. Oops. Wait a sec. This is going to go like all the way back up. This is pushing it. Bounced right off the 500, bounced off the 800. Yeah, I'm going to wait to see how this plays out. I don't want to give a direction on this because this one's got a big drop. And on top of that too, look at this. That is a solid trend line. So this actually could go up even higher to this point, right? I think it's going to shoot up all the way back to the top. So we don't need this. This is going to shoot all the way back up here to retest that trend line. And if it breaks through, that's when we'll see the retest, probably around here, where it'll bounce off of the trend line going down, trend line going up for a cross. Perfect setup. This will be the setup we look for. If that plays out, we'll see how it does by tomorrow. So I'll leave it alone. NJ. This one's retesting the trend line as we speak. And I just drew this up right before we started this started the call. It's doing the same thing. We go to the daily, bounced right off the Mayo. It's no hidden divergence. Sorry for the cluster. Big wick right here, bounced off of the catch-up. It's still bullish. Took out the high. That's a big fat. There's a bunch of sell orders down there. So they're probably going to shoot across and shoot against it. And we'll look for this. So this is still bullish in my eyes, guys. All the JPY pairs are bullish. I don't even need to write it down. It's just they got the peak formation low, even though it's a break of structure to the downside, but they want us. This is one of those things they trick, right? They're trying to get us to start selling, but I think this is going to continue up because they're not going to push down that hard and come all the way back up unless it's for a reason, unless they're going to start doing some shit like this, which can happen, but you don't ever see that. There's usually some breathing room, right? Goes up, down, back up, and breathing room. Like this is not going to go up and down and straight back down. So I'm staying bullish on these from a higher time frame perspective. Just makes the most sense. Go to the weekly. New highs, yeah. Still bullish. So that's what we're looking for. Okay. Euro. I thought this was going to push up to this area here and retrace. It did not. It is extending its push up. Yeah, they're all bullish. So let's just say bullishness on every single pair. Because that's literally what it is. I mean, I don't really have to go into it. The JPY is clearly taking over. Let me go to here. Let's see what FinViz has to say. Look at that. Weak. I'll refresh it too, just to be sure. Oh, even more. That's why this is moving, and that's why AUDJPY. So if we look at AUDJPY and NZDJPY, what do you notice? Big moves. Big moves. Not as big, but well, these are still big themselves, but those pairs specifically tend to push farther past. And then USDJPY, this is all the same. So this is probably going to shoot up another 100 pips, to be honest, right about here. We'll see it push up. It's going to be fun. Bullish. It's retesting the highs. It's going back up. All right. See what it does. I don't think it's going to wick here at all, especially the 8 o'clock or the 4-hour candle just set up. Now it could do a pullback, but I'm still bullish. It's not even really hitting divergence yet. It's hitting the 1-hour 500 moving average. So we'll see. If it doesn't break here, if it doesn't break past this 500 moving average, this could wick here and then drop back down. I want to see. Ideally, this push up was pretty significant, so I'm interested to see how it plays out. My gut's still saying to look for buying potential. Now there was that wick down. Just because there's fat wicks doesn't mean it can't go right back down again, but this is a pair that's been trending for a minute. It's just broke this zone that's back here. Broke up into it. Right? So that was the retest. So yeah, I'm staying bullish on these guys. The hell? All right. CHFJPY, same thing. I'm never gonna sell this pair. I mean, it's interesting that this pair's been rated. This is the all-time high right here. So it's just I don't want to trade against it. This is a wick. Yeah, there's no resistance or up top here because price has never been up there. So this is gonna retest. So I'm staying bullish. Bullish on all the JPY pairs. And we got GU. We got 4-hour. Let me fix up this trend line real quick. That's fun. Reactions here. Retest right up to the 4-hour water. Don't need that. Already made its move. This is a order block right here. All right, so we got an order block there. Imbalance up top, but it already filled it. See that? Filled the order imbalance. 4-hour. EMAs are tight here. It's bouncing off the trend line. Probably going to be bullish or bearish on this, guys. It's not my setup, but if I'm going to say anything, it's bearish overall. But it's unclear. So actually, I'm not going to touch this pair. Unclear. Go to the weekly. Every time price does something like this, like a railroad on GBP pairs, it reverses. It can continue up. This could be a pullback candle, meaning this does shoot up. And that's the weekly. So that means this has time to play out. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see what it does going into tomorrow. Got Euro USD. It's only Sunday. Bouncing off of these EMAs, it's retesting 800, retesting the 50. We have some hidden divergence right now. Let's draw it up. All right, pull back to the 50, hit the 61.8. That's solid. Except Euro USD is not one of those pairs that just decides to shoot up. It needs some sort of structure and pattern. So got regular divergence here. It looks like the same thing as GU. See that? It's the same thing. Didn't take out this hidden divergence or this peak yet. My guess is it wants to shoot up again, and if it does, it's got to retest this trend line. Ah, there. And let's see the fibs. Okay. 61.8 lines up, so be looking for it to push up a little bit. Then we'll come back tomorrow and see what it does. Maybe go in during London session and see how it reacts. But I'm looking for this to be up a little bit. And then we'll possibly look for that sell down. All right. Gold. Out of all the pairs tonight that looked the best, gold and USD Chief look good. So, all right, gold. The reason I like gold is because of the spread outness of it. We have a head and shoulders here. Left shoulder, head, which is a M, right shoulder, drop, breaks the low, pull back. You pull back to the 50 here, but I think it's going to shoot up a little bit higher. This is too soon. So I have a trend line here. I think it's going to shoot up, just like Euro USD. Come down, shoot up towards the 61.8 and the 4-hour resistance, and then we can possibly look for that sell down, which also follows suit with the imbalance here. And yeah, just structure overall. We're on the 1 hour. There's 4 hour, there's 1 hour structure there too. So it clearly makes sense. So short term, we're going to be bullish on gold, but ultimately we're looking at this from a standpoint. I mean, weekly is still bearish, right? This was a pullback on the weekly. They threw multiple wicks up for the last 2 weeks. And then this area where the 2 wicks are, it happens to be a head and shoulders. So I'm waiting for it to shoot up a little bit higher, and then we're going to be bearish tonight on gold, guys. So false move up, and then gold, we are looking for the drop. Okay. And then we have USD Chief, the peak formation low. The reason I like this pair a lot, guys, is this. Wide EMAs, pushes to the side. It needs to go up and retest these structural points. So it needs to, and on top of that too, the daily. The daily is throwing some hidden divergence. So I wanted to shoot up to this daily 50 EMA and the daily 61.8, because if this is going to reverse, that's the first place it's going to go, right? If it goes higher, this is where it's going to go. I don't think it's going to go up here and just drop. I think it needs to go up and hit that 50. So tonight we are bullish on USD Chief. All right, USD Chief. So pretty much the US pairs like USDJPY, USD Chief, and whatnot, anything with USD in front is bullish. It's 10 to, let me see what the dollar's doing. How weak it is or strong it is. Yeah, well, duh. If you ever use the site finviz.com/forex.asx, this is always neutral because it's a stable coin. So these pairs tend to always throw some stuff. There's actually an indicator that tells you what's strength and what's not. I think that's I think I have it. Or I may have got relative performance. Can I use it? Look at that. So if you're watching this, whoever is watching it, you can go to Awanda, show top 10, delay 10, show percentages, and you can get rid of the background color. Don't need that. And you keep that. And if you see here, it tells you the pairs that are bullish. And look at the pairs. NZDJPY, AUDJPY, because they're the top currencies. Like, there's a little hack, right? So if you want to use FinViz on your computer for or on TradingView, you just go and get relative performance by Dev Lucum. Dev Lucum. I think that's what it is. So it works. It's pretty solid, and it tells you which pairs are bearish, and then all you have to do is look at the ones that make sense and see if it makes sense. So like, let's try this. So we got NZD Chief. I'll look at that pair because it's not on the actual thing, is it? Let's see. Don't see it there. NZD Chief. Peak formation high. And it is, so NZD Chief. And based on this, it's bullish, right? It's changing on me. This changes, by the way. This never sits in stone because the currency's strength is always changing. But NZD Chief is currently bullish, according to that. So if we're looking at this, would we say this makes sense for a bullish move? Possibly, but it has to break through here first. Once we see that, then we got our answer. It's just a little hack. You don't have to use it. It's something I used before, but you don't necessarily need it. All you really need to go to is FinViz if you want to, so it doesn't take up room on your chart, and you can just clearly tell. So if you have blue and red, NZDJPY, if this number right here is higher than this number right here, then that means this is bullish. If this is lower than this, then this would be bearish. So get it? Pretty simple. All right. So whatever is weaker, it takes over. And then I'll do, so we got GBP CAD. This is another pair I think has a decent setup for bullishness. Kind of. Like I think it still has room to fill in the gaps here. I based it off of the peak here. And this is the 4 hour. Let me go to the daily. Like ideally, what would be the best setup for this to be a better sell would be if it pulled up a little bit higher. Now, it clearly doesn't align with the EMAs there because they're all super tight. But structurally, if this wanted to be a better sell, I would wait for it to shoot up. So I'm not touching it yet. It's stuck in a consolidation, so we'll see how it works. And then what else is what's the other pair? That's it. Yeah. So just be careful, guys. I have most of my, if not all the JPY pairs bullish tonight. You might see a pullback on most of them. And then we have Euro USD. which is going to be bullish short term, which could be bullish for today, but ends up being bearish once it hits that point up top here based on the 4-hour. Right, so I want to see it shoot up. If it breaks past here, it could do something where it pushes back a little bit past the 50 and then hits this trend line and continues to drop. So just be careful of that. And then you have gold, which it looks like it's already following suit for it to push up. And then once it gets up into the zone, we will look for our selling opportunity and come in on a sell. So have fun, guys. Use risk management. We'll see what ends up happening tonight. I got my eyes on USDJPY, USDCHF, and I got my eyes on gold, right? So let's see how it plays out, and we'll go from there. Talk to you guys tomorrow.